We're going to start with part one. This is an Amazon overview. Maybe you've never sold on Amazon. Who has been selling on Amazon? Who hasn't? Maybe that was a better question. Michelle?
What?
Did you raise your hand for not selling on Amazon?
No, I raised my hand for.
Oh. I was going to say, a change of the guard around here.
I'm running a little late here.
And Amazon versus eBay, and I promise I'm not going to really beat up on eBay. We're just going to talk about the differences. Both platforms and channels have their strengths and their weaknesses, and we're going to talk about a lot of online resources that you can use and recommended reading material. I got some recommended books for you to read. They're not expensive. I promise if you read them, it will open your eyes to what you can do with Amazon and FBA. So who is this Chris Green guy? I am the Chris Green of FBA Scout, FBA Power, FBA Repricer. These are our programs, just so you know who I am. We're not going to talk about these, I promise. Learn FBA is a site where we have a lot of FBA links. They're all free. You can look at them, use the calculator, all the stuff you can take a look at to understand FBA. And we do have an FBA radio show. It's on Monday and Friday at 3 o'clock Eastern. And everybody today gets a free copy of Retail Arbitrage. Try not to move the table. It's available on Amazon.com. It's available on Kindle. And I don't know how this really works, but if you're Amazon Prime and you have a Kindle, like not just Kindle on your PC, like an actual Kindle, you can borrow it for free with their Kindle lending program. And I have no idea how I get paid on that. But apparently they have some kind of program.
They give you a check for zero.
I guess. I really don't know how it works. But you can borrow it for free with no due date. But if you check out a book the next month, you get one rental or one borrow per month. So if you borrow something next month, this one, I guess, disappears. I don't really know how it works behind the scenes. But if you're Prime and you don't like reading physical books, you can get it on Kindle. Borrow it for free. We're not going to talk about me. I've said that like 3 times. I think we've already talked about me 3 times. So that's the end of that. We're going to talk about Amazon, eBay versus Amazon, FBA and eBay together, retailer secrets, other cooler stuff than just talking about me. Because I think a lot of you already know me on Facebook and all that. So, you guys can always email and call. I think a lot of you already have my phone number. Keith calls all the time. All right, you got to stop. All right. Keith's understanding. When I teach, I want you to understand the how and the why. If I just tell you something and expect you to just believe it and act on it and apply it to your business model, but you don't understand how or why I say that or how or why I say that's true, it's not going to do you any good because you're going to be like, I don't know, maybe not. But if you understand it, then you can really apply it. All right, does that make sense? Is that a good learning model? So anytime you can interrupt, if I say something and you want to say, so what? Like if I say, this is how you use sales rank, and go on the next slide. Say, so what? So tell me more about that. That doesn't really help me unless you explain it. So have me explain stuff. I don't mind explaining all this stuff. Some people have seen this presentation before, maybe a couple times. It is changed, and it is better, I promise. These slides are the same, though. So if you're already falling asleep, I'll wake you up. Don't worry. Amazon opportunities. Amazon sales are at an all-time high. I don't have Q4 numbers for 2011, but I do have Q3. $10.9 billion. And compared to Q3 2010, that's up 44%. Amazon did have a record fourth quarter, even though I don't have the actual numbers for it. Amazon third-party sellers used to make up 36%. It's up now to 38% of Amazon's total revenue. Amazon is heavily invested in the third-party merchant category. They are not getting rid of us. They're not going to give up almost 40% of their revenue. And this continues to grow. Third-party sellers are the way that Amazon can offer such an immense, broad catalog. There are items that they can't get, that they can't sell, but they want to be able to offer them to their customers, which is why they let third-party sellers come in and also why they use FBA, so that those same third-party sellers, their inventory is available through Amazon's Prime shipping programs, free Super Saver shipping programs, and we'll get on to more of that in a minute. So what's driving Amazon's success? In my opinion, this is my analysis of Amazon, it's the customer experience. And whenever Amazon has a rule or comes out with a new rule or a new policy, you can always trace it back that what they're doing is designed to provide a great customer experience. Everybody kind of agree with that? Who here shops on Amazon? Who's Prime? Who's not Prime? All right, seriously, you guys got to be Prime. All right. Ask anyone here who's Prime. And I mean, you can't not be Prime anymore. It's unbelievable what Prime gives you.
Prime rocks.
Yeah.
Prime is unbelievable. So we'll talk about Prime. I got a whole section of Prime. So Amazon wants a great customer experience, and what this has done over 15 years that Amazon's been in business has created a customer who comes to Amazon first. They trust Amazon. They pay more for the exact same product to get it from Amazon. They trust the return policy. If something's wrong, they can return it. They can get something else. They come to Amazon first. These are the best customers in the world, the absolute best. They don't nickel and dime you. They don't best offer you. They don't beg you for a tracking number an hour after they pay. You know, we talked about that in Target. If you get like a question from an Amazon customer, you're going to be like, what email is this? I don't recognize. Oh, it's an Amazon question. Right, I haven't got one in like 2 months. So all these rules and policies that we're going to talk about are designed to keep the customer experience the most positive, the best on the internet. And what that does is create those best customers. And having those great customers means that we can sell to them and also keeps the bad sellers out. All right, they go to Amazon first. They're very loyal. They prefer Amazon. Who goes to Amazon first to buy something? Who knew that there were 4 times as many product searches on Amazon than Google? That guy did. You listen to FBA radio. Yeah. It used to be you go to Google to search. Now, if it's a product, you go to Amazon to search. People check the price, and then they decide if they want to buy local or if they want to read the reviews. It's a destination site. Whether you're buying from Amazon or not, people are going to Amazon to read reviews, see negative reviews. Amazon allows negative reviews on their site. Why? Provides for a great customer experience. There was an interview with Bezos where a publisher, back when they were only doing books, publisher called him and said, "Are you some kind of dummy? Don't you know how to do retail? Why would you put negative reviews on your site?" Well, you just put positive reviews and everybody will buy stuff. They're like, "Oh yeah, that'll work for like 1 or 2 or maybe 3 months." And then people are going to get books and they're going to be like, "This book wasn't very good. Why did like 15 people give it 5 stars?" But if the customer can get more information, make a decision based on whatever they want, if it's a bad review or not. I bought stuff with bad reviews because I read the reviews and I'm like, that guy obviously didn't know how to even turn it on. All right, so there's nothing wrong with this product. So Amazon does these things, and maybe it doesn't boost their bottom line in like 90 days, but what has it done? It has created the largest retailer on the planet with the best customers on the planet. And that's a long-term plan. That's not something that you can build in a day. I mean, I'll pick on eBay a little bit at the front. They're coming out with a fulfillment program, right? Who thinks it's going to work? Somebody must. One person?
I think it's going to work.
You think it'll work?
Yes.
Like FBA or like Amazon? Will it bring customers to trust?
That's the original question you asked if it would work, not if it would work like FBA.
I don't think it'll work because, and if it works, great. If eBay becomes a more viable sales channel, it's great for all of us. I don't think it'll work because what Amazon has done in building up their customers has taken 15 years of trust and eating returns and eating fraudulent returns, but making these customers very loyal. A fulfillment program isn't going to all of a sudden make everybody super loyal to eBay. If they can have a long-term plan and not change their fee structure every 18 months and not change this and not change this, have a vision, stick with it for a long-term plan. That's what Amazon's done.
Well, and Amazon still changes prices and increases fees as well.
Amazon has to stay profitable. They are a public company.
Right. So to use that as a comparison with eBay is kind of unfair. But to answer your question, it's going to be a different animal.
It'll be different.
It'll be different.
And if there's opportunities there, I'm all for it.
And I think that's what it will provide. It
Right.
will provide opportunities to people who are selling one-of-a-kind items
Yeah.
and so forth that never would work on Amazon because that's not the Amazon customer, but
Right.
it will work for the eBay customer.
Right.
So-
We'll get to that too. So one of the big things that Amazon has done is, you remember they used to have auctions? Remember that? Amazon auctions? Who remembers Z-Shops? Remember those?
About 2 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, they didn't last very long. You got a good memory if you remember Z-Shops. But Amazon found that their customers didn't want auctions. They wanted their stuff. They weren't being price sensitive. They wanted their stuff. They wanted to buy it, and then they want to get back their lives. They know what they want. They're a very smart customer. They don't go back and forth on a lot of small things. So these are the best customers, in my opinion, on the planet, and you can sell to these customers, and you can sell practically anything on Amazon. We will talk about gated and closed and open categories when we get to FBA. But Amazon is not eBay. You have to read and understand the Amazon rules. Who sold on Amazon without reading the rules? Yeah.
There are rules?
There's a few guilty parties in here, yeah. Who got in trouble for it? You guys got lucky, all right? Because people have gotten their accounts banned for not following the rules. Amazon is not eBay. If you want to play in Amazon Sandbox, you got to play by the rules, or they will kick you out. And this isn't kick you out, go get another email address, sign up again, and they'll never know. This is block your bank account, block your IP address at your house, which is almost like a real estate liability. You know what I mean? You know, you sell a house with a banned Amazon IP address. I want to know before I buy that house, or else what am I going to do? You know, real estate law is being changed by Amazon. You know, so and I'll add this: eBay will let you provide a bad customer experience. They'll let you, and they'll say, "Well, it's your fault. You know, you're going to have poor sales. You're going to have low sales price if you provide a poor customer experience. If you have a return policy that says, don't even contact me about a return policy because I promise I will not take it back. The sale's final. Don't ever email me. I don't even like you. You know, there are very negative return policies that you'll see in eBay, and you're like, really? Why write that? Do you think that helps at all? Are they getting rid of them?
No, they're not allowed on there, but people do put them.
They still put them there. Yeah. They put it. eBay will say, "What's your fault? You know, you provide a bad experience, you're going to suffer with a poor sales price." Amazon will say, "Nuh-uh. You provide our customers." Don't get me wrong. I'd love to say that Amazon's customers are my customers when I sell them something. Amazon's going to say they're their customers. All right. So Amazon's going to say, "You will provide our customers a great customer experience, or we will kick you off our site." Pretty much plain and simple. So this is good for Amazon sellers. So don't take this as bad as like, oh, I can't handle Amazon. It's going to be so hard, and it's not eBay. These rules are not limiting. They've created the most loyal customers in the world. They keep the bad sellers out, and they keep Amazon's buyers coming back again and again. And this is why you should be on Amazon. These customers are there shopping, wanting to buy things, and if you have a product that they want, you can offer it to them with no listing fees, which is totally sweet. So don't be scared. I'm going to say this a few times because some people might be saying, this sounds pretty intense. I really don't want Amazon police knocking on my door. It's not to scare you. Amazon's really not a bully. But you have to start properly. You have to read the rules. If you're going to use FBA, read the FBA rules. Learn how to prepare your items to send to Amazon. Plush, exposed fabric has to be bagged. All right? Who knew that? Who didn't know that? Yeah. If you send that stuff in, they'll probably give you a pass one time and bag it for you. Ask me how I know. Okay?
Yeah.
I did that. I did that. I bought them from Amazon. They came bagged. And I was like, why are they in these silly bags? Because I can't put my labels on them now because I was going to send them back. So I took them all out of the bags, put the labels on, sent them back, and then emailed me, say, you got to bag your stuff. I was like, oh, that's why they bagged them.
Quick question. When you bag your stuff, do you put the label on the product or on the bag?
I put on the product because you don't want to have two labels visible.
That's fine. That's what I would think.
So consider your Amazon seller account a privilege and an asset. It's something you can lose. So don't risk it. Amazon is not eBay. If you repeatedly provide a poor customer service or poor customer experience on Amazon, even if you break Amazon's policies in ignorance and say, I didn't know I had to bag it. I didn't know. Sorry. They're going to be like, for Pete's sakes, you did it like 3 times. All right, you're gone. All right? They're not going to put up with it. You know, and it may hurt their bottom line the next week when your items aren't available for sale and they're not making those sales. But over time, those customers aren't going to keep getting a bad experience and getting that plush item with the black warehouse dust. You know what I'm talking about? It's like
You charge extra for that.
we don't. Well, that's a liability. So don't be scared. Really read, follow the rules, especially in the categories that you sell in. If you're selling toys, just read the toys ones. You don't have to read, every clothing and automotive and all that stuff. But at least read the categories that you sell in. Ship on time if you're doing merchant fulfilled, and you really will be just fine. I will add this because I didn't put it anywhere else. Feedback on eBay, you're not going to get a lot of it. Maybe 5, maybe 10%. Don't worry about it. Amazon's not eBay. You're not going to get a lot of feedback, and it really doesn't matter as much. Buyers aren't really looking at the feedback and saying, oh, he's got 99, so I'm not going to buy from him. Maintaining 100% on Amazon, to me, it's virtually impossible. You will get people you can't make happy. And it doesn't matter. If you keep 96 to 98 on Amazon, I consider that 100%. Okay? But don't ask your buyers for feedback. In my opinion, not worth it. Think of yourself as a buyer. I bought it, and then I get like 3 more emails. Please leave me feedback. Stop it. You're going to get a negative if you email me one more time. So, what were we talking about, right? We should be selling on Amazon. Stop it. All right. So you're diversifying. You're selling in multiple sales channels. You have eBay as a sales channel, which is great for certain types of items. You have Amazon as a sales channel for other items. And you're not putting all your eggs in one basket. So it's just like investing. You're diversifying a little bit. And if you only have 2 sales channels, it's not too much to juggle. You start getting into like 20 of them, then to me it's a lot of work. I would focus on the ones where you sell the most volume, which for most people is eBay and Amazon. Grow those numbers instead of chasing 1% on some little site. You know what I mean? eBay versus Amazon. eBay strengths. I'll even start with eBay strengths, so I don't throw them under the bus all night long, just maybe a little bit later. Auction listings. Amazon doesn't have auctions. They have a collectibles market. eBay is great for those one-of-a-kind items, and anyone can create any listing at any time. And you can sell virtually anything on Amazon. Anyone have an example or on eBay? Something you cannot sell on eBay, other than firearms. That was the easy one. Something hard.
Ivory.
Body parts, animals, right? Ivory. Pretty much things that are banned, illegal substances, drugs, okay, so.
Counterfeit items.
counterfeit money. So,
No counterfeit items, like you can't have.
oh, counterfeit in general,
like
sure.
Prada or like
Right.
Louis Vuitton.
So eBay weaknesses. Now, I'm not going to let anybody add to my list, even though you probably could. Don't do that. Variable fees and listing fees, which I am not a fan of listing fees, and I'll give you a great example why later. It's kind of the low price place. You know, you think, well, let me get the lowest price, I'm going to go to eBay. I'm guilty of doing that myself. If I'm looking for the lowest price on something, I go to eBay first. And sometimes it's cheaper on Amazon. But just, you think, okay, I want the cheap, I'm going to eBay. A lower price can lead to lower margins. People compete and they kind of undercut each other a lot, which they do on Amazon as well. But listings and search results are typically inconsistent. I know they're trying to clean it up a little bit. The example I'll show you may be a little outdated, but I know they're trying to update, and I think they're trying to copy Amazon, which, great move. A little late, but great move. So price buyers, in my opinion, can be high maintenance. You guys may have different experience with price buyers, but when you buy on price only, in my opinion, that can be a high maintenance buyer, which to me, I'd rather have a low maintenance buyer and a higher price. It's like a double win, right?
Does that mean price buyers?
You buy based on price alone. Like when you go shopping for something, you're buying on price only, not return policy, not because the store is clean and well lit, only price. And everybody thinks they're a price buyer. I guarantee you're not. You really aren't. I'll give you an example later. Amazon's strengths, in my opinion, easier to list when product listings exist. You find the product page, sell yours here, price, quantity, description, it's done. You don't have to take pictures with your little light box. Who's got a light box thing? Yeah, I don't. I never did. I always stole product images from manufacturers. Or Google Images was good. It's a flat commission and no listing fees, which to me is a brilliant business model because it makes sellers list. I can list as much as I want. It's not going to cost me anything unless it sells. And if it sells, I know what it's going to cost me. So if I lose money on Amazon, it's only my fault. Really. Who's lost money on Amazon?
Once.
Your fault.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Nobody else? You guys just don't want to raise your hand. Yeah, okay, guilty parties here, yeah. But you knew it. If you looked at the numbers, you would have known you were going to lose money. And maybe losing money was your best bet, depending on the product and where it was. It can be a strategy, so don't get me wrong. But Amazon typically has higher prices in the sense of being better. In my opinion, better customers is in low maintenance. They just buy, get their product, and move on. There's not a lot of going back and forth and, oh, it didn't look like this in the picture. And, it just is what it is. And the fulfillment by Amazon program is unbelievable. And we already asked who's not using Amazon FBA, and by the end of the night, probably everybody will be. Amazon weaknesses. It is harder to list one-of-a-kind items if you have to create a product page, either in the everything else category or by buying a UPC. And I am talking fast because this is a long presentation. So if I do need to slow down, raise your hand, interrupt me. It won't hurt my feelings. It's not a collectibles marketplace yet. I have a complete plan of how they could do that. Maybe if someone from Amazon is watching this video, they could call me. I will tell them exactly how to do it. Limited customer interaction, in my opinion, is a good thing, but it does make it difficult to market to your buyers. So anybody who's on eBay, they collect their, you sell a certain type of thing, like you sell, ties or Jason with Hawaiian stuff and tiki stuff. You can build up a clientele and you can market to them. You can't really do that on Amazon. Amazon's really going to possibly ban your account for doing that. So really, you want to limit your customer interaction on Amazon. And there's no auction type listings. So my personal favorite, everybody want to read this in unison? Huh? There is no such thing as a non-paying bidder on Amazon. If eBay's watching this, holy smokes, how on earth do we have non-paying bidders? eBay is the only place I can go on the planet and buy something and not pay for it. Can't do that at my grocery store. You can't do that anywhere. You cannot go anywhere and not pay.
In fairness, eBay has made great strides in minimizing that over the last year or so.
Minimize it to zero. Absolute zero. And I know they do this because they want their buyers and bidders to feel comfortable and not feel trapped. But you know what? If you get rid of the people who don't pay, guess who's coming back? The sellers. To me, it's kind of simple, and maybe I'm missing something that the big, cats at eBay know that I don't know. But you get rid of non-paying bidders, sellers might just come back. So when you look at Amazon, the thing you want to think is, are my products a good match for Amazon? Because there are products that are not a good match for Amazon, the one-of-a-kinds, the collectibles, fragile, stuff like that. It's probably not going to be the best. It's easiest if there's already a product page. You don't have to create anything. If you have new items and you have multiple identical units, we're talking the exact same thing. When you put in your quantity, say, I got 40 of those. Boom. All right, now what do I do? You just listed 40 items, and it took you 10 seconds. So you find the product page, quantity, description, price, you're done. You don't have to take any pictures. unless of course the product page doesn't have a picture and you want to upload one, or it has a terrible picture, you want to upload a better one. I always recommend that, because think of a buyer. If you're looking at something that's got a terrible picture or no picture, even on eBay with gallery, you know, like you couldn't really not do gallery. Isn't gallery free now? Yeah. Remember when it wasn't free? I was like, you got to be kidding me, eBay. Give me free gallery and your ending prices will be higher, I promise, which means you get higher final value fees, which will exceed the cost of gallery. But, you know, what do I know? I'm just a seller. I don't know that much about eBay. So, 2 different types of seller accounts. Who doesn't have an Amazon account? Really, nobody? Like a seller account, not just a buyer account. All right, pay attention to this, all right? Because this has recently changed. The sell your stuff, it used to be called an individual account, and sell professionally used to be called pro merchant. You kind of upgrade and go in between. It has like a $39.99 fee. They've changed it to sell your stuff and sell professionally. Sell your stuff has no monthly fee, but you pay an extra 99 cents per sale. So as long as you sell 40 items, it's basically free to sell professionally. The problem comes in if you do sell your stuff for a few months and you're like really cranking it and you're like, dude, I totally am selling more than 40 a month. It's going to save me money to be on sell professionally. Upgrading that account and rolling over your feedback, and if you have FBA inventory, rolling that over is pretty much not possible, okay? Other than being extremely complicated and really not worth it. I highly recommend, if you're ready to get into Amazon, start with sell professionally. We're talking 40 items a month, which is a little more than 1 item a day. So if you're not doing like 1 item a day, you may not need to be on Amazon yet anyway, okay? So maybe wait till you have enough products to where, 40 items a month, it's not going to be a big deal. This really shouldn't make or break, the whole business. But I just want to warn people, if you want to start under 40, and maybe you're under 40 for months and months at a time, all right? And it makes sense to be sell your stuff. That's okay. But just understand that go and sell professionally is going to be difficult. Almost to the point of it makes more sense to open a second account under sell professionally, let the other one kind of die off, and go with a new one, which now you're managing 2 accounts. So, all right, sell your stuff account. If you're only doing a few products, like we talked, it's a per product fee of 99 cents. So you will have a higher transaction fees per item if you're doing sell your stuff. Sell professionally pays for itself as long as you're doing about 40 orders. You just do the math. 40 sales a month is $39.60, which basically evens the other one out. Advantages of the sell professionally account. This is stuff Karen was talking about here. And one of the good ones to look at is customized shipping rates. If you're doing merchant fulfilled, and you're over here, they're calling it sell your or start selling and sell your stuff. The customized shipping rates can be a big deal depending on what you're selling and what your competition's doing. If you want to be able to say, I do free shipping, or I want to do a flat rate plus so many cents per pound shipping, or just a flat per order shipping, you can do that as sell professionally. You can't do that with sell your stuff. So depending who you're competing against, being able to have customized shipping could be very important, or else you're just not going to be able to compete on price properly. You're going to be pushed way down. It's an advantage depending on the types of items that you're selling. So if you're only sell your stuff, you're not eligible for featured seller status, which is huge. I've had the buy box when I'm like $80 higher than my closest competitor. So the customer can go look and save $80, but you know what? They all don't. And they buy from me. And I'm a premium. I'm featured, because I have good metrics and I have good feedback. And buyers are going to pay more for that. If they don't want that, they can buy from someone else who just launched and doesn't know how to use Amazon and says, most of the parts are there, but it's missing the plug and the box is bashed in. You can buy from that and save $80 all you want. That's not my listing. So buyers have a choice, and Amazon will promote featured sellers. Create new products is another big one, and then it gives you all kinds of other stuff, different reports, different inventory files that you can upload that you just can't do with the Sell Your Stuff account.
To be a featured seller, there's nothing you can do. It's just based on your...
The rules of featured sellers are not known. But as long as you do some volume, you have great metrics, you have great feedback, which if you're 100% FBA, it's kind of hard to have bad metrics,
So it's not just price, so it's not just the lowest price.
No way, which surprised me because I've seen some big gaps featured to the other ones. I had a product, I was featured at $5.99, I had the buy box. Second highest price, $3.69, or the lowest price was $3.69. And the buyer actually didn't pay attention, bought from me, then emailed saying, hey, I thought this was $3.69. I was like, not from me, it's not. You want to buy from someone else, you go ahead. And I sent him the link to the offers page, and it was so bad. It was like, this kit doesn't have a flashlight, and there's no box. And the other one was $3.69, it's missing a battery. It's like, really? Like, I'm not going to report them for like listing violations, what they're obviously doing, just because I'm not the Amazon police. But the buyer needs to make that decision. You buy from me, you pay more to buy from me because, hey, mine's factory sealed and I guarantee warranty on it and you're gonna get it on time. And if those things aren't important to you, buy from someone else. You really won't hurt my feelings. So highly recommend starting with a Sell Professionally account. Even if you don't start right away, wait till you're ready to go. It'll just make your life easier down the road. You won't have to transfer inventory. You won't lose feedback. In my opinion, feedback on Amazon is not that important. On eBay, everybody gets lovey-dovey with their feedback and, I got a green star. And it's not that way on Amazon. A lot of buyers don't even look at it. So Amazon categories, there's 3 types. There's open, there's gated, and there's closed. Open is where any new seller can list any items. Gated, you have to get approved. You really have to be qualified. There's a lot of requirements Amazon has. And closed, not open to new sellers. So open categories, I copied this off of Amazon a little while ago. It may have been updated since then. This is kind of most of the typical stuff that you're going to find. The big one that people think they can get in, but they find they can't, is clothing and shoes. That's been closed for a while. Amazon does want to open it up because clothing is a huge category where eBay. On eBay. It's the eBay group. You're supposed to let everybody know that, right? Amazon knows that. They want a piece of that action. So they'll open up clothing eventually when they have it right. So that's over here on gated. Requires approval. Actually, I think it's on closed on this presentation. But gated, you got to get approval. Sometimes they expect you to have a website with products, so that you have to actually have a web presence. And it can be difficult, but whatever Amazon asks you to do to get approved, do it. Because once you get approved, guess what? Now you're approved and everyone else still isn't. Everyone else who said, oh, I got to have a website, forget that. How hard is it to make a website? I mean, just cookie cutter site, throw up some pictures. They're not actually going to check if you integrated a merchant account and are taking a ton of orders. They just want to see you have a website, right? So do what it takes, because then your asset becomes stronger and more valuable because, hey, I can sell clothing. Hey, I can sell automotive. I can do all these other things, and other sellers can't, which means you're able to sell to customers your competition can't sell to, which means your prices stay higher, you don't have the competition. I mean, I could go on and on. Closed categories, not open to new sellers, don't even bother trying. Clothing and accessories should really be ungated. But guns, gift cards, tobacco, and alcohol, which I don't even think they sell alcohol, but it was copied on the Amazon page. Don't even bother, all right? You're just going to waste your time trying to get approved in there.
Collectible books.
You have to be approved to sell collectible, yeah.
And what?
Autograph, first edition.
No, I know what collectibles are, but what do you have to do to get into the collectible?
Probably just apply, because collectible books isn't really a sensitive category the way some of these other ones are. And there are collectible books, depending what you sell and what you find. Personally, I don't list a lot of collectible books, because if I find them at thrift stores and they're autographed, can't prove it. So I just list it as autographed as a bonus. But if you have a true first edition, it depends, if you want to sell it on, because I'm an all FBA guy, so I'm already thinking FBA. I probably wouldn't send a lot of FBA stuff to collectible if it was a truly high value.
You have to have good feedback to sell collectible.
Yeah.
They check and
You're approved for collectible?
Yeah. You have to send a couple of these off the collectible books that you actually have.
Yeah.
And then after that, they approve you.
It used to be, I had a guy that would approve anybody who asked, and then he got fired, I think. So he got in trouble. So some people here may have got approved by him, which was great for a little short period of time. So why does Amazon do this? They want a consistent marketplace that their buyers trust. And remember what we talked about at the beginning, the Amazon customer experience. To me, it all comes back to that. Everything Amazon does, whether it's categories or feedback or rules or storage fees, whatever it is, it's for the customer experience. So here's an example. Who sold toys and games on Amazon this fourth quarter? Who didn't because they got in too late? Yeah? Only one? Well, at least we got one. At least someone knows what I'm talking about.
December 4th I started.
Way too late. Come on. You know better. You can't. Did you use FBA to get around it?
No, I just started Amazon altogether.
You can just start FBA on day one, too. You would have got around it. FBA is exempt.
I started FBA day one, but I just got in too late.
That's all right. Next year.
I didn't know what the hell I was doing.
That's okay. So what Amazon does is every fourth quarter, they don't let in new sellers. If you're going to do merchant fulfilled, say, sorry, we don't want your business, which short term will hurt their bottom line. But it helps their long-term vision of having great sellers provide products their best to their customers without overselling, without shipping late, without, whoa, I said I had 100 of these Tickle Me Elmos, and then I couldn't find any. I got 200 orders, you know. And then they can't ship. Then they cancel. And then what? The customer has a bad experience. You can trace everything back to why they do these things. So if you want to use FBA, you're exempt. Use FBA because you can't ship late when you're FBA. You can't cancel order. Well, Amazon can cancel your order, but they're not going to ding you for it. So when you use FBA, as long as you describe your items properly, it's really just kind of funneling product and getting paid for it, all right? But describe your items properly. That way you'll get good feedback, and it's kind of hard to mess everything up. We'll talk more about FBA in a little bit. So eBay versus Amazon, differences in listing products and differences in product search. You guys can raise your hand if I got anything old on this, because I know I took some of these screenshots a little while ago. And this is what I say about the listing fees. And I always say when it's cheap to throw your net. You know, it's kind of an analogy or you know, something you can kind of relate to. You can throw your net for free. This is Amazon with no listing fees. You don't have to catch much, and you can throw a huge net. You can list all this stuff that you've got. You don't have to catch much. It's not going to cost you money. But if it costs money to throw your net on eBay with the listing fees, it restricts the size of your net, and you can't throw it that often unless you catch some sales, catch some stuff. Does that make sense? That's why everybody's going to Amazon. Like, I'm going to put my whole inventory on Amazon, because even if it doesn't sell, it's not going to cost me any money. I might as well put it on Amazon. And then they get all these sales on Amazon. They're like, forget it. I'm going to use Amazon all the time. Now, differences in listings. And eBay has updated a little bit. I looked on eBay the other day, and I was like, and I posted in the Facebook group. I was like, "Whoa! When did eBay start looking like Amazon?" It was for an iPod, and they had like all the sellers on the side. You know what I mean? It was just like Amazon.
They're very big into catalog now.
Right. They've
Improved
they've
that
copied.
immensely.
Yeah. It will help eBay. So what has happened, and this is why Amazon's become so strong, is on eBay you would have 50 sellers, each with their own items. So you have 50 items and 50 listings. Amazon, you'd have 50 sellers, each with their own items, so 50 items, but only one listing. That's one product page. So to me, the winner is Amazon because it's easier to shop. And I'll show you why. Because everybody's going to recognize a search result like this, right? This is a battery that we sold hundreds and hundreds of, right? And if we search, when I did this search, there's 726 results. It might be a little small if you guys can see, but you might be able to see the picture. This is a model number for a battery, a single battery. The first result featured is 2, then you get 1, then you get 2 in some bags, then you get 1 in a factory clamshell, then you get 4, then you get 1, but then you look closely, it's like, oh, a lot of 4, but it's a picture of 1. And each one of these, you'd have to click on the item, you have to go look at the return policy, look at the shipping, look at, you know, the feedback, and it just takes you forever. And you're like, for Pete's sake, I just want to buy one battery. So on Amazon, you do the same search, you get 58 results, and it gives you, here's the listing for 1, here's the listing for 2, here's the listing for 2 with a charger, here's the listing for 5. And it goes on down the list for, you know, products that have this search term in it. And if you click on the first one, you see all the sellers. They're all sorted by the net price, which is price plus shipping. So the lowest price here is from Amazon, $59.97. You can look at all these guys. You can see their feedback. You can see any details on their return policy. If you're going to sell on Amazon, you have to have a return policy that is at least as favorable as Amazon's. And I don't know how you could even make it more favorable, if you guys know what I mean. So, you know, return policy details in here really aren't going to really help them. If they say no returns or whatever, they're going to take a return if someone wants to return it. And Amazon's going to enforce it. So you can see their feedback, and you can choose who you're going to buy from. And most people are going to buy from Amazon. It's got free shipping. It's the lowest price anyway. So you may look at that and say, well, how do I differentiate myself? I'm just stacked in with sellers. It's only price, right? It sorts by price. Whoever's on top is going to get all the sales, right? Not necessarily. There's ways you can differentiate yourself. Feedback. Some people still go on Amazon and look at feedback, and it's a big deal to them. So when they look at feedback and they say, oh, this guy's got a negative, and look at his comment, his follow-up comment. It's all snarky, telling the buyer that he's stupid for not reading the description. That doesn't inspire any confidence. What I recommend for people on Amazon feedback, everybody here is selling on Amazon, here's what you do with your feedback. If you get a negative, 1, do customer service. Try to get them to remove it. Give them their money back. Give them a free return. Pay the shipping. Do whatever it takes for good customer service. Replying to negative feedback, if they don't remove it, is for your next buyer. Does that make sense? That buyer is never going to go look at your feedback page. I promise. So putting in there, you should have contacted me, even if it's a nice thing saying, you know, we really strive for customer service. I wish you would have contacted me. I'd help you out to give you a full refund. They're not going to read it. That's not what that's for. A reply to a negative feedback is for your next customer. Because when you guys shop and you see this seller ripped me off and the guy writes back and says, you know, I really apologize. I don't know how this happened. I don't believe you even bought this product from us, but please here's my phone number. Call me anytime. You see that this seller is reasonable and he got a weird buyer and you're still going to buy from him. So that's a way to, you know, use your feedback to your advantage. The description, who's bought a book and it said crack the jewel case in the description? You know what I mean? These sellers that use the same generic stuff for everything, it doesn't inspire any buyer confidence. You're like, am I going to get a book? Am I going to get a CD? What am I going to get? So, but then you'll find someone who says, you'll get a buyer or a description, and it'll say, book is in great condition. It's got one little fold on page 43. It comes from a smoke-free home. It ships priority in a bubble mailer, and I ship it out right away. And we really, here's our phone number if you want to call us. And it's going to inspire buyer confidence. And you can charge more. And someone's going to say, I'm buying from this guy because I know I'm going to get what I want, and I'm not going to get a DVD instead of this book that I want. And price, when you're the lowest price, it says something. Who here wants to go to the lowest price brain surgeon? You see what I mean? The price says, if you're the lowest price, even if you're too low, and I'll use examples from a book that I'll recommend here. Someone comes up to you and says, hey, you want to buy my Corvette? $500. $500, but you got to buy it right now. Okay? You're gonna be like, whoa, wait a minute. I don't know if this is something I want to get into. Why is it only $500? Price says something. Even if it's a total legit sale, I'm like, I just want $500 because I don't care. But it's almost too good of a price, which raises suspicion, and people are going to be like, you know what, it's too low. There's got to be something wrong with it. I'm going to buy from this guy because that's the market price for that toy. This is a $20 toy. That $4, I don't know what I'm going to get. I think I'm going to get the wrong item if I buy that $4 one. And they buy the $20 one,
I think another reason a buyer at Amazon buys from somebody with a higher price is sometimes quantity.
Yep.
If somebody's looking for 5 of something and the lowest price only has 1,
Yep.
they may just go to the one who has a bigger quantity available.
And that's a great reason to use one SKU and manage your inventory instead of having 5 SKUs with 1 quantity each. Well, on top of that, that's a violation of Amazon rules, so don't do that, okay? Manage your SKUs and have multiple quantity on one SKU. So you can provide an even better return policy than Amazon. You can say, I'll pay for your shipping back, I'll pay this, I'll pay this. Do whatever you can. Buyers do not want to return things. I promise. There may be people out there who buy stuff and return it, and that's just kind of how they get their entertainment for the day. People don't want to return things. So offering a return policy, all it does is inspire buyer confidence and get you buyers. Okay? So I know a lot of people on eBay are like, and I used to do this, no returns. I'm not messing with it. This is eBay for Pete's sake. I'm not returning anything. And it doesn't help. So you can become featured merchant, which will put you up above everybody else regardless of price. And the biggest way to differentiate yourself on Amazon is to use FBA because your items will be at the top. You get to charge more, even if you're, because of the shipping that we'll talk about in a minute. Buyers can sort by only seeing FBA items. So, and there's no listing fees. So, I mean, really, you got to try out Amazon. So, creating listings, you do have to have a Sell Professionally account or to create listings. If you only have to sell your stuff, you're limited to everything else. And again, not recommended. So, just so you know the differences. Then you got to make your own decisions. Adding products to the Amazon catalog. If you have a product that's not in the Amazon catalog and has a UPC code on it, you can use that UPC, assuming it's not in the system tied to some other product, which some of you may know that often happens. Just get a UPC or a UPC off the product. It'll walk you through the system. It's actually really easy. And Amazon wants to keep a consistent marketplace. They basically want every UPC ever, so they can match it up to every product ever. But everybody knows the Amazon product catalog is pretty riddled with errors. Anybody that's listed stuff and they scan something in, they're like, that's not what this is. But, it is what it is. It's a pretty big catalog. So if your products don't have a UPC and you don't want to listen to everything else, which, of course, I don't recommend, there is a best-kept secret, and I've been doing this for over 4 years. And I learned this, actually. I was trying to list a new product that was only available in a combo kit from a Home Depot. It was exclusive. You could only get this product. It was a little radio. Only place you could get it was to buy a $600 combo kit. And I knew there were people out there who say, I already got the combo kit. I just want the radio. So I said, I want to list this product. And we sold this little radio, which ended up being like a $20 radio, but we sold a ton of them for $100 each because we were the first seller to do it. And I was going back and forth with Amazon. How do I get this on? Can you help me? How do I create a page? It doesn't have a box. It's like, I don't know, dude. You could buy a UPC. I was like, dude, that's all I needed. That's like $1 million answer right there. He had no idea. He was like, I don't know, just buy a UPC. And then you Google buy a UPC, and all these sites come up. And like, I had no idea. So this is a site I used to buy from. There used to be $23 a piece. Who pays $23 for a UPC now? $23 for 10, maybe? Not even that? They're less than that?
Cheap UPC or something?
There's a lot of cheap. They're under like $1 or $2. Yeah. So These guys were making money at the beginning, $20 for a UPC. So, but just Google buy a UPC. There's a bunch of them out there. It's really kind of hard to fake a UPC. Like it either works or doesn't.
So there's no problem if a product already has a UPC, but let's say it's the same UPC for different products, like or different variations of the same product.
Right.
So you can just buy a UPC and change it.
Sure. You could create a new bundle with a UPC. You could create your own listing with any UPC. Do whatever you want with a UPC. Once you sell through a product that you've created a product page for with UPC, I don't recommend using that UPC to change it to something else. Well, there's nothing stopping you from doing that. And if there's no other sellers on that page, it's not really going to be a big deal. But you got to think about yourself. If you're listing on a page and some seller said, oh, I'm done with that, I'm going to change it to something else, it's really going to hurt you. All right? So you don't want to hurt someone else in that sense. And with the cost of UPCs, I really don't recommend reusing UPCs. It doesn't make any sense anymore. When they're $20 a piece, is a little different. Go back. So, little continuation on this. Able to add a new product is very powerful because when you're the first, if you make this product, you're the only seller. You're not subject to supply and demand and competition. You set your price, and it is what it is. And you're able to sell to the customers that are on the high price of the demand curve. Any econ majors in here? Just me? No? Maybe? One? No? Economics major? No? Supply and demand. There are people that will pay a lot more for the exact same thing than someone else. I'll pay more. And my sunglasses they have out in the car, got them for Christmas 2 years ago. I will pay more for those sunglasses because they're my favorite pair. Oakley made them. They're discontinued. I will pay a lot more than say you will. You'll be like, whatever, dude. I'll just go buy one.
Most likely going to find them on eBay rather than.
I did find them on eBay. I did find them on eBay. And I paid the premium. It was a premium price because limited supply. But he's able to get that limited supply into my hands. I'm the limited demand. There's not everybody that wants the old model of Oakleys, but I do. And we can make that transaction through the internet. Thank you for eBay, and thank you for Amazon. But the internet allows that remote supply and remote demand to come together. The problem is that other sellers can piggyback, and I would more call it leeching off of your newly created listings. But if a UPC costs you $20, and this was back when they were like $20, right? You sell 200 items, it's only 10 cents per item. So buying UPC shouldn't be cost prohibitive, especially when they're $2 a piece. Yeah, buy 100 at a time and just save them in Excel and check them off as you use them. And then when your buddy needs one, just send them one. Stop it. Okay. Online resources. I want to add this in here in case anybody has to leave after the first session. We have a blog called FBA Blog, very creative name that we came up with. It's got a lot of information on new policies that come out, kind of longer. It's not like a little short blog. It's kind of like long articles. Amazon comes out with something new, and I'm going to tell you what it means, how to work with it. Learn FBA has all the links about FBA. And there's free online groups. There's a FBA radio show that we do, and it's got a Facebook group. And we have fbaforum.fbarocks.com. It's a Yahoo group, if anybody's familiar with the Yahoo interface instead of the Facebook interface. FBA Radio is up over 500 people, and FBA Forum is over 1,500 people. They're both moderated to have positive, helpful, useful information. Anybody's been on the Amazon boards or even the eBay boards? The eBay board's known for being incredibly positive and uplifting places.
Amazon's not all that much better.
I know they are. They're tough. I post in there with like, take a few breaths and then reply to a post. But we want things to be positive, and help people. And with a number of people in there, I think both groups do a really good job of doing that. If you're new, there's no dumb questions. Come in here and ask any question. Anybody that's a member of these groups knows exactly what I'm talking about. Deals Done Right is going to be one of our newer sites, and all these links are on your handout. And everything on here is completely free. The Amazon browser bar. Who doesn't have the Amazon browser bar? Dude, you got an invisible hand?
Yeah.
Wait till you try Amazon browser bar. They kind of work together. Amazon browser bar is designed for other sites.
At the same time?
Yeah.
What does it do?
Amazon browser bar will detect a product when you're on a different site, like Kmart, JCPenney, Toys R Us, and it'll say, oh, you can buy it over here on Amazon for less or more. Designed for less. Designed for shoppers to say, oh, sweet, I can save $5, I get it from Amazon. But then I think I have an example. I got an example on the next slide. It's not always that way. It's often higher on Amazon. So you're like, oh, sweet, thanks, Amazon browser bar. I'll buy 40 of those. Invisible hand will work on Amazon. To where if you're looking at a product on Amazon, it'll say, oh, by the way, this is this price at Kmart. And you're like, oh, sweet, let me go over there. Fat Wallet and Slick Deals are both community-based deal sharing sites. Yeah. If you find a hot deal on Slick Deals, it might be just hot enough that you could resell it. The hotter the deal, the more likely it is that it's such a low price that it represents a resale opportunity. Fat Wallet's the same way. I kind of preferred Fat Wallet just because the first one I did, but Slick Deals I think does have a better reputation of being better. Camel, and the Tractor. Who's heard of those two?
No.
These are historical price tracking and sales rank tracking sites. So if you take an item, the ASIN from Amazon, plug it in, they're going to show you on a graph and say, this is historically a $400 item, and now it's $97 from Amazon. And it'll say, dude, you should totally buy it because it's the lowest price it's ever been. Or you can look and see, is this an artificially low price? Is during the year and more of a normal price? Like that butterscotch pony, who sold those at Christmas? Not just me, right?
I bought one, that's all.
I kept one. Oh, the thing's huge. It's unbelievable. But it's been as high as $400. And then all the sellers come in, supply is artificially high, the price comes down. It went down like I think $280.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
I sold all mine for I think $299.
Mine's 99.
You kept it? Well, I kept one. I sold two. I kept one.
Well, funniest thing is today when the Toys R Us, they hadn't changed the sign over it, even though I had the email that said it was 99. So there were 3 of them that nobody knew.
Yeah.
$99.
Right place at the right time, which is the reason nobody can take over. So if you're thinking, oh, everybody's going to go out and do FBA and take, not possible. Absolutely not possible. Because you walk in and you think it was $299. But you knew because you had information. We'll talk to you more about that later. But both of these sites do the same stuff with sales rank tracking and historical price tracking.
Both use ASIN numbers?
Yeah. And then if they're not tracking an item, you can enter it and they'll start tracking it. So you can say, oh, I'm going to keep an eye on this item. Let me see if it goes up or down. This is the Amazon browser bar. This is an example that I posted yesterday in the Facebook group. You pull up this page. This is JCPenney. This was originally $60, which I don't know about you guys, but $60 seems expensive for a toy horse. But they've sold it for $18. And the Amazon browser bar, this is it right here when it's installed. And when it finds a product, this drops down, like all cool, like a window shade, like zzz, you know what I mean? $84.50 on Amazon. And you can click on this link or you can click here. It'll take you over the product page. You can double check the sales rank. You can double check if it's merchant fulfilled or FBA. So is this $84.50 plus $19 shipping? Is it even better deal or not? See if it's an accurate price. You know, is it kind of priced way too high or if it's not? I think this thing was ranked 14,000. Who saw it last night? Do you remember the rank? I don't remember the rank, but it was good. It was good, yeah. And it sold out really fast, of course. But not to me. I didn't buy them all and then post it. I promise.
Someone searched that horse and it came up and then the Amazon bar dropped down.
I found these because I'll explain exactly how I find these deals. I got a Fat Wallet topic alert, which when you're a Fat Wallet member, which is completely free, say I want to know when there's something listed for toys. So someone posted a toy deal. It was a Lamborghini a Power Wheel from JCPenney. And then another one came through with the what was the other one? Oh, it was a little police trike ride-on. I was like, 2 from JCPenney within like 5 minutes. Let me go check JCPenney, see what's going on. So first I was just looking at, you look at this item, and I cut it off here so this would be big, but it'd be say, customers who saw this item also looked for these, and there was some other clearance. So I eventually found, it wasn't in this clearance, it was under toys, and way at the bottom they had a link for sale. And it brought up, I think, 30 different items that were all drastically marked down. Most of them were good for resale. So I posted them in the Facebook group. I wasn't going to buy all of them, you know, and they all got sold out. And that's how I found them. But while I'm here, this drops down. So I say, oh, okay, let me check. And if it doesn't drop down, I copy and paste the title right in here, search Amazon, and go search Amazon. Because it doesn't always, it's not perfect. It makes it very quick and efficient, but it's not perfect. So you still have to do your due diligence and not be lazy and be like, oh, Amazon browser bar didn't find anything. Oh, well. Do a title search. Yeah, sometimes it just doesn't. You're like, come on, this is very clearly an item on Amazon, but it won't find it. And that's okay. But I mean, these things, I mean, you'd be surprised. This is fun. You can sit in front of the computer or in front of the TV with your laptop, and you're like, oh, I'll totally buy that. So it works both ways. So this is designed to shop, but nobody's shopping with it to buy this. This is for resellers, right? So required reading, I do have 2 books, and I should put my book on here, required reading, but you get it for free today, so. The long tail. Who has the long tail?
I bought it, I haven't read it.
Doesn't do any good to not read it. Who has read the long tail?
I'm 40 pages into it.
That doesn't count either.
It's like Econ 101.
Finishing your book first.
Okay. Fair.
40% into it on the Kindle.
The long tail's not on Kindle. Oh, careful. Long tail's not on Kindle. My book's on Kindle.
I have it right. I bought
Long
it.
tail?
Yes.
Old, not the longer long tail.
I got the longer tail.
Tell the publisher.
That's
Tell the publisher.
exactly the one I have.
Then it just came out. It just came out then.
I shall prove you wrong.
Show one more form.
I paid $8.99 for it the day somebody brought it for a penny.
You can get the long tail used from FBA for like $7 to $8. The long tail. Chris Anderson wrote this book. Who knows who Chris Anderson is? Wired Magazine. Ever heard of that? He's the editor of Wired Magazine. Wired magazines?
Yes,
Yeah.
I do.
People will buy the old ones. This explains, and I think I have a better picture of the long tail. Long tail as a concept in a market with near infinite supply, meaning a huge variety of products. Think the Amazon catalog and how broad it is, and the immense products, and even think of eBay. It's hard to do a search on eBay and get no results. You know what I mean? It's everything. A demand will exist for even the most obscure products.
Right next.
That's awesome. I'm going to tell everybody to get it because I've been trying.
Tail.
I know. It's great that it finally came out. I bought the other one on Kindle, but I couldn't get this one on Kindle. So the most obscure products will still have a demand, even if that demand is itty bitty bitty. So what does this really mean in the real world? Up here is what Best Buy carries. Why? Because they have a limited amount of space in their store. They have to fill every square inch with stuff that will make them money. They're not going to carry the item that sells once every 2 years worldwide. Because that one customer worldwide is going to come into the Attleboro Best Buy. It's not happening. They would never carry it. They'd say, I would rather not carry this ever than carry it. But this is the Amazon warehouse system where warehouse space is at a near cost of zero. They can build millions and millions and millions of square feet of warehouse space and put more products in there. It's not going to cost them what it costs Best Buy to carry all these items. This is why retail stores don't carry the tail. They carry the head, which is the popular items, the best sellers. What Amazon figured out is this goes off to near infinity. And there's more money down here than up here.
And also, by having third-party sellers provide that inventory, it costs Amazon
Right.
zero to have that product available.
Exactly. So here's Amazon's long tail, and here's the third-party marketplace. And there's some third-party marketplace in here. But Amazon doesn't have to make money on the best sellers. They can make all the money in here because this stuff isn't as price sensitive. That one customer that wants that one book every 5 years, they're not going to be like, well, I'll buy it if it was like $10, but not for 12. They're not price sensitive. This stuff's price sensitive. That's why all the retailers carry all the same products. They all carry a drill. Walmart and Target and Home Depot and Lowe's, they all carry a $49.95 price point drill, whether it's from Black & Decker or Skill or Cobalt or whoever it's from, they carry price point products. They don't care who it's from because that price point, whatever brand is in that price point is the one that's going to sell the most. Retailers have figured all this out, and Amazon does the exact same thing. So they'll sell all this stuff. They don't need to make money up here. They'll make volume, and they'll keep UPS running, and they'll make plenty of money down here because they make money on third-party sellers when the stuff sells. And they provide a platform that works for sellers. So it's like a win-win. Amazon provides opportunity. And we don't have time to get into like Occupy protests, but Amazon is not going to give you a handout. Amazon will give you an opportunity. Amazon will help you build a business, write a book, publish MP3s, do anything you want. I have an MP3 on Amazon, right? I didn't even think it would work when I went through the system, and then it's there. And nobody's ever bought it, of course. Well, actually, I bought it just to see how it worked. But I can self-publish an MP3, a music. It ridiculous opportunities that Amazon provides to people. And understanding the long tail will really help your business because some products just don't sell very often. And that's okay if you understand margin, and we'll get to margin too. Everybody got to go yet? Because I think phase one isn't even done yet. So here's where I stole this picture from, just for, so nobody accuses me of making it up myself. So these obscure products, you can match them up with your buyers using the long tail and using Amazon and the internet and eBay. So, I could even add eBay in here to work with the long tail. And transactions take place that would never happen in a store. Books are being sold that would never be sold in the half-price books because those customers are never coming in. And half-price books eventually gets tired of those books and clearances them out, and you can buy them and send them to FBA and sell them for $100. And they're happy with their dollar because they need their shelf space back, and you're happy with $100 because you understand the long tail. Everybody make sense? Did I lose anybody?
Does it make sense to put things out there that are a long tail item and pay storage fees on? You have to pay Amazon the storage fees on it.
If it's a long tail book, it'll be about a penny a month, which means it can sit there for 8 years for $1. And if $1 is like making or breaking that item, I wouldn't send it in. Your margin's not high enough. So we'll talk about margin here in a minute. You got to have healthy margins to account for these fees, account for returns, account for all this stuff. When Home Depot sets a price, they know exactly what percentage of that product is going to be stolen by people who work at Home Depot. They account for that in shrink. They know exactly how many are going to be destroyed by a forklift in receiving. They account for it in that price. There's no like surprises. It's not like, I think a lot of eBay sellers may relate to this. They're like, okay, I sold all this stuff and then boom, I got hit with my eBay bill at the end of the month and I didn't make any money. Well, you should have accounted for those fees. Buyer pays fees, not seller. Does that make sense? Anybody ever thought of it that way? I don't pay eBay fees. Customer pays eBay fees. I don't pay Amazon fees. Customer pays eBay fees. Amazon fees go up, your prices should go up if you want to keep your margins healthy. And if your competition doesn't raise their price, that means their margins are going down because they got the same fees that you got. So they all of a sudden take less margin. They're going to be working harder, making less money. They're either going to go out of business or they're going to raise their price just like you are. So the thing is, don't worry about your competition. Let them do their thing. You worry about your business. Understand margin. Understand price. Understand how to turn a profit. And if your competition wants to put themselves out of business, let them. Don't assume that you know their cost. Don't assume that you know their business model. I think we covered most of this already. One thing about the long tail that I didn't copy is the margins on these types of items are awesome because they're not price sensitive. Someone's going to buy that book, once every 2 years because they just got into high altitude Mount Everest cooking with distilled water. I don't know. You can just make it up. They want that book. It's not like, well, it's too high. You either want it or you don't. It's not price sensitive. So which means your margins can stay nice and high. So if you have long tail items, don't think you have to drop their price every month. You can if you want. You're just going to end up with a lower sales price. Margin versus volume. You need to understand price, margin, volume, supply, and demand. And I probably should have added in here time, because as time goes by, all these things change. If someone clearances something out and you send all the supply in and other people do too, the supply is artificially high, which means the price goes artificially low. And as time goes by, that supply goes away, the price comes back up. Happens over and over and over again. So don't be surprised by it. All right? Play your game and keep your margins. And sometimes you got to buy and hold. I got a buy and hold strategy later in the presentation. So you have to know how they all work together. Price is only set by supply and demand. That's it. So when you hear about people, these toy sellers are price gouging, and you can't believe you charge that much. Dude, I didn't set the price. Supply and demand did. And if the price is too high, guess what? It's not going to sell. And if I want to sell, I'm at a lower price. It's really just simple economics. There's no sellers that get to set a high price and force buyers to buy. Buyers buy if they want to buy. An equilibrium price will come up. If people don't buy, the seller's going to be stuck with their supply. That's just how it works. Here's another book to buy, and this link is also on your little handout. This is How to Sell at Margins Higher Than Your Competitors. I read both of these books kind of by accident. I found them both at thrift stores, and I was listing them for FBA, and they both had really good secondary market prices. And I was like, why is this one still such a high price, even used? And typically, if it's high price used, it's a good book. Because the books that have kind of fluff content and aren't that good, quickly go to a penny, right? My book's not a penny yet. So everybody gets a book. Don't go selling it and beating the price down to a penny. But I read this one, and holy smokes, I wish I read this before I started selling on eBay. Because I would undercut my competition by $10, by $5. I would put in my subtitle, I was selling an item for $50, $49.95. And I would say, why are people, no, I was $39.95. My competition was $49. I said, why are people paying $49.95 in my subtitle? I was so mad that people were buying, because you could see what they were buying, this other guy. I was too low a price. People were saying, I don't know, dude, that's too low. I almost don't trust that price. There must be something wrong with it. And not everybody shops every single eBay listing, so they find their... You got the same problem I got. We need someone to fix these phones. It's going to drive me nuts the whole way home. Thank you. In the car, I was just talking on it, and all of a sudden it started talking to me. So,
one of the things that I've discovered in selling FBA is just this right here, is that when you've got a product that nobody else has as FBA, even though there could be hundreds of merchant fill for the same thing, you can command a higher price. Right.
You can leverage, and we'll talk about leveraging FBA, because it's not a fair comparison. When you use FBA, you're selling to customers who will not buy from your competition. You're selling to customers who prefer different things than different buyers will. The speed of shipping, the return policy. It's unreal. And how much higher you can charge is always up for debate. It's something. How high you can go is up for debate.
And I just saw
worried if I get the sale too quick. I'm like, I could have
That's how you tell. You sell something too fast, you priced it too
I
low.
sold a CD the other day for $25, and I went and looked, and everybody else was merchant filled. I was the only FBA. Everybody else was selling it for $10 or less.
Yep.
I'm like, gee, I should buy all these. And send them down.
You can buy it. You can flip them back around. What I did, my wife's a singer, and both her sisters are singers, and it was Thursday, and we had Xbox, and we wanted to get this karaoke game, right? And I'm like not a big karaoke guy, but you know their sisters were coming in town. I wanted this game to be here while our sisters were here. There was an FBA seller for $50 used. I'm surprised this video game was like that much used, and I could get it for $30. I think it's 30. It might have been $40 from a merchant fulfilled. So should I pay a $10 premium and then overnight shipping, $3.99, to get it in time for the weekend so that we could play this game on the weekend? And yeah, I did. I paid it. I paid a big premium to get it. Would I have paid like $30? I don't know. Maybe not. There's a cutoff where I'll pay that much of a premium to get it that fast. And I know exactly what I'm paying for. I don't resent this FBA seller for price. I'm thankful he can list it and made it available so that I can buy it. And I use the example that I know a lot of sellers who list penny books. Everybody knows what a penny book is? If there's no FBA competition, they list it for $9.95. And they may not get the next sale, but they get the sale. Because you think about, you're going on a cruise in 2 days, and you want to take that book with you. You don't have a choice. You are thankful that you can get it for $9.95 and get it delivered in time for your cruise, because even from a merchant fulfilled, at any price, even if you give a merchant fulfilled guy $9.95, he can't get it to you in time. So you're thankful to have that seller there. It's like awesome.
He may be able to get it to you in time, but you don't know that for sure.
Yeah, and not for $9.95. You know, so it's just simple. They see it. Amazon even says on there, "You want this delivered tomorrow? Order in like 5 minutes." You're like, "Oh, totally. I need it tomorrow." So here's the ISBN number. I highly recommend. This is a more expensive book than the long tail. It's about $15 used. You can get it on Kindle if you're a Kindle person. I've got it on Kindle. You can get it on Kindle. I bought it. I think I gave it to somebody, and I didn't have it. So I bought it on Kindle so that I could reference something that I'm actually going to reference here. Make sure I have my numbers right. This is a margins example, so we'll talk about margin really quick. And think of an item that sells, you sell. Maybe you make it, right? It sells for $100. Item costs you $65 to make, so you're making $35. So think of a $35 margin on a $100 sale, okay? Just for simplicity. You drop your price. You doing the math in your head, or you just sore neck? Yeah? Do the math right here. Drop your price. And if you guys know the answer to this, don't say it, because this will blow the minds of everybody else. Drop price 10%. Drop it down to 90% and try to make it up in volume. Everybody know all those retailers that make it up in volume before they go out of business, like Circuit City? Oh, don't worry, we'll slash prices and make it up in volume. Yeah, you still went out of business, just like everybody else who tried that. How much more volume do you have to make or have to sell to make the same amount of money? Who wants to guess? 100%? So twice?
So how many products?
How much more volume do you have to sell to make the same amount of money?
I got to take my shoes off.
This is a simplified example, because think if you did like $1 million in sales at this, that profit that you would get, okay? I'll give you the answer just because it's easy. You have to do twice as much volume at $1 million sales. You have to do twice as much volume. And what people forget is like, oh, I can do twice as much volume. That's twice as much work for the same amount of money. Really? Does this still seem like a good idea? No, thanks. At least that's, again, my opinion. Everybody's entitled to their own. I don't think this makes a lot of sense. If you take margin the other way, item that sells for $100, item costs $65, $35 margin on a $100 sale, raise price by 10%. We're still trying to think of a $1 million business of breaking even, right? How many customers can you lose and still make the same amount of money? Is it twice? Does it go the same both ways?
20%.
No, we're both in the middle. You could lose a third of your sales and still make the same amount of money. And you could take like every third day off, not go to work, and make the same amount of money. That's margin in the real world. You think, oh, I'll drop price and sweet, I'll blow these things out. Well, yeah, you're going to make a lot less margin. You're going to make a lot less money. You have to pay attention to margin. Margin is probably one of the biggest things that people misunderstand, and one of the biggest things that you have to learn to be successful. If you don't pay attention to margin, Griff does a good, who's been to a Griff presentation? Where he talks about knowing your numbers. So how much money did you make? Oh, I did like 500,000 in the sales. How much money did you make? Oh, I did like a bunch of units. How much money? I went to the post office every day. Dude, how much money did you make? Oh, I don't know. But I shipped everything I got ordered. Well, good. You're supposed to. You know, it's not like you get a badge for that. You know, You're supposed to ship everything you get. How much money did you make? You understand your margin, So, I mean, Griff's got a great presentation about that. Part 1 is complete. If you have to leave, you don't hurt my feelings. Everybody's welcome to stay.